Hello, and welcome back to Elden Ring. This is part 11 of our intelligence sorcery run through the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC. Last time, we went through the Rao Ancient Ruins, taking out both the Saint of the Blood boss and Sir Mesmer. For items, we got ourselves the Winged Serpent Helm, the Ash of War Flame Spear, the Impenetrable Thorn Sorcery, the Ash of War Wall of Sparks, an Iris of Grace, a hefty Cracked Pot, Salza's Hood, the Rain of Fire Incantation, the Ash of War Dryleaf Whirlwind, Devonia's Hammer, the Crucible Hammer Helm, some upgrade materials, Talisman of All Crucibles, the Divine Beast Tornado Incantation, Remembrance of the Impaler, and a Remembrance of the Saint of the Bud. Well, I came here to talk to Talier to see if he had any new dialogue. He does not, but I also saw this item. A message from Letta. So, Dane passed on a message. The sealing tree is in the ancient ruins of Rao. It lies beyond the high bridge leading from the first floor of the storehouse. I will join you there once I finish the task at hand. I don't know why it was here. I think it's usually in a different area. So that was weird. But anyways, we can head to the Cerulean Coast Cross, Site of Grace. Down near the bottom of the map. And we can make our way south. Because down here, there are two things of importance. The first is pretty immediate. Right at the end of this small trail, they might already be dead. They're already dead. Well, there's normally a giant there. Throwing giant pots at you. If we can find it quickly, I might be able to show off a third thing. Because there are these items here. The deep purple lilies. And there's one here that you can't pick up. Here it is. Right here on the map. There's a deep purple lily that, as you can see, is visually here, but you can't pick up for some reason. I lied, there's two. So there's two deep purple lilies that you can see but not pick up. Why can't you pick them up? I don't know. I have no idea where it is, but in the base game, there's an Erdtree leaf that you can pick up. I might not have any, actually. Wow. But Erdleaf flowers, I believe they're called. There's one in the base game that you can see, but you can't pick up. I was actually online when I found it, and there were just a ton of messages around it that were all super disappointed in the fact that you couldn't pick up the flower. And I had to agree with them. Even though I don't really use crafting. And Erdleaf flowers, I know they're used for more things, but they're mostly used to craft the Furl Calling Finger Remedy, which is used to have other people summon or to be able to summon other people. Don't really use that, but I was still excited to see it. But the second thing is you can go down here. You can only go down here after approaching the Shadow Keep and breaking the spell. But once you go into here, the stone coffin fissure, and you immediately have your Site of Grace. There was a Site of Grace up there that I didn't pick up. That's why. Just because on the map that would mean more visual clutter, which I try to avoid. How is this gonna work? Four shots. How about with the Gavel of Haima? And a 1, and a 2, and a 3. Okay. So Gavel of Haima is actually a really, really good sorcery. I highly recommend it. I immediately heard him. Let's shoot you with that to get your attention. Coward. But something I would suggest doing in case you didn't catch that, if you use Gavel of Haima, you can have a follow-up slam. But if you do the follow-up slam immediately, the enemy can, like, poise through it, basically. But if you delay the follow-up, then they can't, like, animation their way through it. So, Gavel of Haima is a really, really good sorcery, but you need to have that one piece of information. You need to know to hold off on the follow-up for just a second. And it'll make the sorcery so much better. I cannot understate how much of a difference maker that makes. Because if you just do it back to back, it's very easily punished. So you really need to take that second to let the enemy stand up, at least for the most part. With this guy. Kindly Mikola, I see you've thrown away something you should not have under any circumstances. How will you salvation offer to those who cannot be saved when you cannot even save your other self? Like, Saint Trina seems pretty cool. I'm not a big lore person, but to my knowledge, Saint Trina, pretty cool. Sir? Sir, please. That is unnecessary. That is so strange, though. Like, imagine being that second bird. You just watched a blue projectile fly out of nowhere around a corner to your side. Kill a member of your species, and your initial thought is, let's go to where that member of my species just died. Velvet Sword of Trina. Like, maybe this is just a me thing, but if I see a member of my species die directly in front of my eyes in real time, I'm not going towards the corpse. I'm going away from it. And you may call that cowardice. I call that self-preservation. Now, you may wonder, why did I get close to the enemy just to use a ranged attack to kill them? And the answer is very simple. I may be running an int build, but being intelligent and being smart are two different things. My character is one of them. I'm neither. I know what you are. What you are is dead. Yoink this. Yoink that. Nope. 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 Okay. Okay. Now, some people say that bows suck. But if you jump down here, looking just above our head, there's 1, 2, 3, and then a fourth one down there in the corner. And what happens is you drop down and those two light up, and then if you try to move that way, that one lights up, and if you try to move back, that one lights up, and no matter what, it's not a good time. But with a bow, oh yeah, and that one lights up. So what's supposed to happen is you drop down, see these two light up, dodge backwards, get blown up by this one, which sends you into these ones. But with a bow, you can just shoot them all, they all explode. Problem solved. Easy peasy. Moving on. Yeah, I mean, it really is that simple. And then you can go up or you can go down. And down here, somewhere down here, there it is. I was gonna say somewhere down here there's a sorcery. I've been glooped. I've been glooped and I've been spooped. But anyways, I've tried that sorcery once. It is not good. But this is the sorcery run, so I figured I should grab it just to show you. And I might show it off at some point. Who knows? I would suggest killing this thing. I'm not going to because it has a lot of health. But it drops smithing stone 7s and 8s. And killing this glowy misbegotten gets you an incantation. I've never seen it die like that before. I mean, I've never tried to run past it, which is probably why, but still. And some people complain about how getting certain items, like the 4-toed foul foot, to make silver, gold, or silver pickled foul foots and gold pickled foul foots. Certain items like that are rare. So it has added this. Yeah, plenty of thin beast bones, flight pinions, slumbering eggs. I don't know what flight pinions are for, or slumbering eggs. But the eagles, this enemy right here, they didn't this time, but they can drop the 4-toed foul foot. And 28 intelligence and 22 faith. I was going to show this off, but it has a faith requirement. Oof. That's unfortunate. But yeah, people say that bows are bad, and they're not really good as, like, your main weapon. But they're an incredibly good, like, utility support, just offhand weapon to have to help with certain situations. I found that in Dark Souls 3, the dragons, or the one dragon in Archdragon Peak, just before, I don't know if he has a name, but the guy using Rickard's rapier, the one who has, like, nothing but a headpiece on, the dragon right before him, a bow is really good for fighting him. And I'm gonna summon Yosh because this guy's weird. He's got a horse when we don't. And I always forget to drink this. And why I always forget to drink that? No idea, because it is very useful. But I always forget it. And this... Ooh. Like I said, this guy's just weird to fight. And Yosh is doing nothing. I just horribly mistimed that roll. That was rude. And they have a bit of tracking, which I did not know before. It's good to know. And this is the int build, so if we're gonna learn something, this would be the run to do it. And I said it, I believe, last time, but if you struggle against an enemy or a boss with a melee build, magic trivializes it. And if you struggle on an enemy or a boss with a melee or with a magic build, some melee build will trivialize it. I tend to really struggle with that boss. Even more, like, I struggle with that boss way more than I struggle with Mesmer on most melee runs. But there I lost like 2 heals. And they were entirely my fault for being super rusty. It wasn't even a weird boss timing. It was entirely just me being bad. And having not fought the boss for multiple months. But here we can imbibe the nectar. And yeah, St. Trina has quite possibly the best NPC design in the entire series. And maybe that's just a bias on my part, because she's purple. And that's a very cool color. But maybe I'm correct, and she is the best designed NPC in the entire series. Let me know. Because I can rarely tell when it's biased or not.
I had something I wish to tell you. I'm heading south. I've recalled something that Sir Moore said. He discovered deep purple water lilies blooming on the southern shore. That must be where St. Trina was left to wither away.
Okay. And you can buy these. Not super useful because they immediately kill you. But funny. And if you're not gonna get a useful consumable item, you might...
Oh, St. Trina, what velvety ambrosia is this? Your poison and the sweet sleep that follows. Oh, please, let me hear your voice. Then you too must have paid a visit to St. Trina's garden of deepest purple. I'm drifting off in the sea of her poison. Soon I will hear her voice. Let me be. I won't be long. Oh, I almost forgot. You mustn't follow my example. St. Trina's poison would plunge you into an eternal slumber. It must be me, and only me. I am gone, adrift in sleep, so that I may hear St. Trina's lost voice. Let me be. I won't be long.
If you're not going to get a useful consumable item, you might as well get a funny consumable item. And I'm not big on consumable items because they're limited and tend to cost money. Or souls, runes, whatever you want to call them. And I would much rather put those into levels. So, I'm not big on consumable items. But if they're funny, well, then it might be worth it. And you need to do this several times. So we're just gonna sip the sippies. And then we're gonna take a nap. Several naps in quick succession. I say at 3 in the morning. Well, I'm not tired at all. Is it here? It might be one more death.
I am gone so that let me be.
I think it may be one more. I think it's a total of like 5 or 6. Probably a total of 5. Glop. And yep, the fade out is slower this time, so now we're gonna get dialogue.
Stop. Don't turn the poor thing into a god.
Yeah, so being a god is not good in this universe. It's like being imprisoned.
Trina, why won't you share your voice with me? Grant me more of your poison, that I might drift further into sleep. Perhaps then you'll grace me with your voice. Please, leave me alone. I'll thank you not to lie to me. I am the chosen, not you. Only I can doze off in the sea of St. Trina. Why would you hear her voice when I cannot? If you should utter these cruel untruths to me again, I won't be held responsible for my actions. Please, enough. I cannot believe your cheek. And I will stand for it no longer.
He says he won't be held responsible for his actions, but he can barely keep his head up. And he says he won't stand for it any longer, but he's not standing in the first place, so... Also, the water and the, like, purples and reds and black. It looks so good. And the flowers and the slight misty glowing light. Not a big fan of the ceiling, but this is a very nice looking area as well. Big fan of St. Trina. She's awesome. Really wish we got an Elden Ring 2. Like, yeah, there's gonna be Night Rain, but really wish there was an Elden Ring 2. So we could get more St. Trina or St. Trina adjacent stuff. Because... sleep.
It would be Michaela's prison. A caged divinity beyond saving.
God counters. You can perform. Okay.
I will never forgive you. For your trespass, you will know my poison.
SotE. You're as weak as a kitten and thick as two planks. Like, you're getting damaged by perfume. You're getting damaged by a scent. Now, you might say, well, I'm getting damaged by scent as well. But I never claimed to be strong.
Why did you mislead me? Such strength, but for what?
My guy, I am walking around with a perfume bottle and a stick as my weapons. And a robe as my armor. I don't know what you mean by strength, but it ain't me. Like, my strength is 16. And it's only at 16 because I wielded the claymore at the beginning of this run. Did not respec, by the way. And I never went above 16 strength. Don't ask me how this run started, or how the beginning of it went. Because it was interesting. And I never, like, slapped an infusion on the claymore either. I just kept it as the basic claymore. As I said, the int build doesn't make me smart. Anyways.
You. I was no good to anyone. Beginning to end. Weak as a kitten, and thick as two planks. I suppose dying in disgrace is fitting, in a way. Tell me, please, assuming you spoke the truth back then. What did St. Trina tell you? Tell me, assuming you... What did...
She told me that we need to eat more cheese. Well, she's gonna tell it to me in about 7 seconds. After I take a nap. On the floor. So this is the last one we need. And then we can move on.
You must kill Mikhail. Grant him forgiveness.
And now we can pass the message on to Talia. And then we'll be done with all of this. I bring you good and or bad and or scary and or exciting tidings depending on how you see it. Good sir.
Tell me, please, assuming you spoke the truth back then. What did St. Trina tell you? You are a wretched, wretched soul. A nightmare come to plague me. Such a thing couldn't possibly be. Could it? St. Trina, let me hear your voice in my everlasting slumber.
Well, he was correct about that whole wretched soul thing. Because I'm gonna drop a rainbow stone right in front of his eyes. Make it glow so he can't sleep. Because I'm evil. We do have Charo's hidden grave. When did we unlock this? Do we have everything here? I don't know. We got Rings of Spectral Light. We got Lamenter's Shell, so we probably have everything here. Like I said, after, I think it was part 6, I took a 3.5-month break because I got sick and holidays and family functions and whatnot. And so there are some things where I just don't remember what happened in this run. What I do remember is that dragons don't enjoy taking sorceries to the face. But sorceries are pretty good against dragons. Especially on horseback. I mean, you can easily just stand out of range. Spam sorceries. Look at that damage. Beautiful. Didn't even use the magic shred and cracked here to increase our magic damage. Why we didn't do that? Who knows? Who knows? I mean, all of us. It's because I forgot. Will I someday remember to use the thing that makes our build even better? Both offensively and defensively? Probably. Not for the difficult bosses, though. We'll remember it for, like, some random Joe Schmo dragon fight. Hefty red lightning pot. Red lightning is barely better than normal lightning, if I remember correctly. It does have an arcing effect, so it, like, spreads out a little bit. And that's nice. But it's nothing too crazy. Like, normal lightning stuff is good enough. But let's run over here. There are 2 dragons, a boss and a normal enemy. And you can just sit back and let them fight each other. The boss dragon has more health. Like, a lot more health. And the normal enemy dragon I believe starts at like half health. So boss dragon will always win. But as you can see, normal enemy dragon can get some damage in. Not with that attack though, for some reason. And also, since this is the intelligence build run, I can... we can lower the volume. But I can give you some intelligence. And the intelligence that I can give you is that in multiplayer, there's no summoning here. Like, for this boss, I don't know about the other Jagged Peak Drake or the named dragon above. I think it's a no for both. Could be wrong about that, but I know for this one, there's absolutely no summoning. Because I tried. I didn't try to summon, but I tried to, like, put down my summon sign to help other people. Because I figured, it's a duo fight. And for the vast majority of fights where I personally look for help, it's on duo fights. And so I figured, might as well help some people who might look at a duo fight and go, I don't want to deal with that. At least not alone. But I couldn't. Nearly 2,000 damage. That's nice. Anyways. This dragon is nearly dead. And there it is. And I would highly suggest killing this one. For reasons that'll become obvious once they die. And the one before and after this, not that important, but this one specifically is. And if you have a bit of patience, it's really easy.
What a sight. A warrior true, if ever one there was. A fellow Drake warrior. Igon. Piteous Igon. Do you not remember? Conjure your past, how once you were, when fear was yet foreign to ye. Drake warrior, dear friend, grant me this one wish. Take this finger, my finger, scale the jagged peak, face Baal the Dread, and when you do, summon me. Summon my soul. My limbs are limbs no more. My heart is twice over filled with fear. But a Drake warrior I remain, and my soul yet lies on the mountain. Proud Drake warrior, I beg of you, Scale the jagged peak, face Bale the Dread, and when you do, summon me. Summon my soul.
And that's why I say kill that duo fight. And if you have a bit of patience, you can sit back, and it can turn into not a duo fight, and the boss will have a bit less health. So that'll make things easier. But the first one that we killed, not important. You can ignore it, honestly. And this next one coming up, you can also ignore. I'm gonna fight this next one coming up because I like to keep things under an hour. And I'm not super confident in the idea of killing Bale and doing our little recap in less than 14 minutes. But a bit more confident in the idea of being able to kill Senessax. Not entirely, but a bit more. Like I said, it's pretty easy to fight dragons with magic builds, as long as you're okay with wasting a ton of FP. Because it's very easy to play keep away with them. You can just sit back. You can walk away. You can just move away from any of their attacks. And you can strike them at range. And it works a lot better than it probably should. And it's fights like this where I understand why people say that magic builds are the easy mode of Dark Souls. I say as I get knocked off my horse and nearly die. But it's because there's so little threat here that you really don't have to worry. Like, there's really no threat. Ancient Dragon Smithing Stone and Ancient Somber Stone. So I'd say worth killing them, but it's really just the duo fight and Bale to go after. Because you can get a decent amount of ancient stones if you know where to sniff around. There's a cookbook over here behind all the flesh. It's Igon's getting us dragon communion flesh. And there's a set of grace there, but we can honestly ignore it. No big deal. But yeah. I've said it before. I'll say it again. if something is difficult for melee builds, it's easy for magic builds. If something is difficult for magic builds, it's easy for melee builds. As a general rule. Not always, but as a general rule. And here, if you jump and then aim north-northwest, you can get an ancient somber stone, and then you can make your way back to this jump, this spirit spring. You can take the spirit spring, and you can make your way forward up to the end of this little passage where you'll find an item. An ancient dragon smithing stone. And that's why I say that third boss, the one that actually has a name, it might be worth fighting if you want to try out a bunch of weapons, but you can skip them if you want. Not a big deal. But not really confident in the idea of fighting Bale and then doing the recap in less than 8 minutes, so I think we can end it here. We went through the entirety of the Stone Coffin Fissure and finishing St. Trina and Talier's quest, unless you count Promised Consort. But we also went through the upper path of the Jagged Peak, meeting Igon again, getting 2 ancient dragon smithing stones and 2 ancient somber stones, and making it up to the summit. And all that's really left is Bale, the Abyssal Woods, which I forgot about, the Castle Watering Hole in Reclusus as a river, and Inner Ilum. So we can start the next part off with Bale and then make our way through Reclusus as a river. I think that'll be a good way to do things. But for now, in this part, we got the Velvet Sword of St. Trina, the massive putrescent sorcery, the multi-layered Ring of Light incantation, the Remembrance of Putrescence, the St. Trina's Smile talisman, the ability to summon Igon, some upgrade materials, the ability to craft Dragon Communion flesh, and then again, 2 ancient dragon smithing stones and 2 ancient somber stones, which is really good. That allows you to get the final upgrade for 4 weapons. But with that being said, yeah.